Sami, welcome to Telecom Stars in Cars Capacity Europe edition.
Thank you, Isabel.
You know there's no such thing as a free ride, so the price of this ride is an interview with me. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
So, Sami, I've been seeing a lot of news about your growth plan, Telehouse's growth plan internationally. When you decide to go into a new international market, what are your considerations? How do you decide?
So, Telehouse is a global data center platform centered on connectivity. And by being such, our first action when we decide which market we need to enter in is to look at the telco map. Where are the submarine cables? Where are the big backbones, terrestrial cables, connecting those submarine cables? And when we look at that map, there are cities and countries that pop up naturally as a home for telehouses around the globe. For example, when we made our decision to expand in Toronto in the last couple of months, the decision was quite easy when we look at that map and the importance of Toronto in terms of connectivity in the North American market. So that's the first, I would say, criteria we look at. The second one is obviously how strong is the digital market in that specific city we have chosen. By strong, I mean how much interconnection can happen within that market and make it viable for us in the long term. So that's the second criteria. And the third criteria obviously is how available is the energy and how sustainable is it to operate in that market. So those are basically the three criteria that we take into consideration when we expand. This is what we did when we expanded in Thailand, this is what we did when we expanded in Marseille and everywhere in the world.
So I like your third criteria, sustainability. I think it's a great thing that you just said there, and I'm happy that it's one of your criteria. So, but entering into new market comes with lots of challenges. What are the key challenges that you see when you go into a new international market?
Well, probably the first one is sustainability, because you cannot be sustainable as we want, which is actually having the commitment to be carbon neutral by 2030 for our global platform. The same way in each country or each city you operate in. So you need to adapt to local specificities of each market. And maybe the first complexity we need to solve is sustainability, is how is the energy mix in that market, and how can we make sure that within that energy mix that we use, we can be carbon neutral by 2030. That's a massive challenge. It can be easy when you go to France, for example, where you have a majority of nuclear, which is low carbon. That's easy. But it can be much challenging if you want to go to Poland or to Germany, where the mix is a little bit tricky. So then we operate with PPA, with power purchase agreement, where we go buy wind farms or solar farms to operate our data centers. So that's a local specificity that we try to solve each time. The second thing is more also about real estate and permitting, which is specific to each country. And that's also a know-how that you need to develop country by country. So those are the kind of challenges that you need to solve. The last one, and probably the biggest one, is the chicken and egg problem. When you want to build a connectivity site, you want people in to connect to each other, but who needs to be in first? Where do you begin with? So that's also one of the specific know-how that Telehouse developed during the last 30 years of its life, where we know how to build up an ecosystem from scratch, and that's what we try to deploy in the different countries we are in.
Okay, so I guess you know me, I like some hot gossip. What are the latest destinations you've opened, and then any new ones that you want to share with us?
Yeah, so first of all, we are expanding all our existing strong positions, which are London, Paris, Frankfurt, Tokyo, so where we have been established for lots of time. We are still expanding there. Second, we are now focusing into operating the newly acquired or opened cities like Toronto, where we have bought for we bought for $1.2 billion a company called Allied, the asset of that company, and we need to operate that properly. We have 3 very strong positions in there in terms of connectivity and data centers that we will focus on in the next couple of years. Same in Thailand, Bangkok, where we have opened a new city. So those are the current focus, I would say, short-term focus. In the longer term or mid-term, we are also looking in Europe into expanding in the southern area of Europe, like Lisbon, like Greece and Istanbul and Turkey. Those are one of the roadmaps that we have in Europe. We also have a bigger roadmap in Southeast Asia, where we think that lots of things will be happening in the telco area, and the submarine and terrestrial network happening in there. So we also have a strong roadmap in that region.
Okay, there are a lot of exciting but challenging times ahead for you guys.
Absolutely, absolutely. Huge challenge. I mean, when you decide to build a platform that is global and that is different from the classical data center, more real estate type of platform, meaning that we are not building huge facilities for huge players that are dedicated to them. That's not what we're doing. We are building local interconnection markets that are much smaller in terms of size, but much more complex to build in, because we don't just build and pre-let to one player. We build and then we bring fibers, we bring players, we bring small bits and pieces of the puzzle to make it as successful as our data center in London, for example, that we will be probably pass by in a few seconds, or our data center in Paris or Toronto that we have just bought.
Okay, so I mean, there's one thing to grow internationally, but what is your end game? You know, all the pieces of the puzzle need to fit together. What type of synergy are you looking to build?
Our vision is that our customers should have a no-brainer when they need data center space that is connectivity dense and sustainable. If you want data center space anywhere in a connected city where you can operate sustainably, Telehouse name should pop up to your brain. That's our vision. That's what we want to build as a product. And to do that, we need to solve lots of local complexities. We need to go much, much more global than what we are right now. And we need to be as close as possible to the deployment of submarine cables and terrestrial cables. And that's a huge challenge. That's what I tell to ambitious people that want to join Telehouse, for example. If you're ambitious in the telco area, this is a massive, massive problem to solve. And actually very, very exciting to me personally, and I think to all the staff of Telehouse.
Amazing interview, Sami, as always. I could listen to you for hours. I think you have so many exciting things ahead, and I'll be watching you. And you're lucky that this is not carpool karaoke.
Don't make me sing. You don't want to do that.
Next time, maybe.
Next time, probably, yeah.
So thank you for a great interview, Sami, and I will be watching you. I think there's a lot of great things ahead for Telehouse.
Thank you very much, Isabel.
Everyone, thank you for watching my Telecom Stars in Cars interview, and until the next victim.